Go live button.
All right.
We're good? Okay, let's try that again. Hey, what's up, everybody? How's it going? So, for those of you that don't already know, we are No Such Road. That's Eggy. This is Apple. I'm Apple. I'm Aaron. And we are from Portland, Oregon, and this is our first beach festival, man. Yesterday we did a little thing in here with Daniel Donato, and part of what we were talking about with him was how this festival is different than any other festival that we've ever been to. We've done a lot of stuff on the West Coast, but the East Coast definitely has its charm and its vibe. You know, coming from the West Coast, we always hear like East Coasters are rude and like standoffish and whatever. And we have had the exact opposite experience. Like this has been the coolest experience at the beach. And I just wanted to start off with saying thanks to all of you for welcoming us to the East Coast and taking us in and taking care of us and letting us do this in front of you and talk. We appreciate it a lot.
Whoa. We're glad to have you. Thank you so much. I say the only thing I said like yesterday, you all drive a little more aggressively out here, but once you get out of the car, you're the nicest people. We can introduce you to some pretty cool people.
Yeah, everyone is like that.
I got a Rolodex.
So, one of the rad things about Peach, at least like from my perspective, living on the West Coast, is this festival seems to be more than others a springboard for talent. When bands play Peach, something happens afterwards sometimes. You know, Blues is a great example of that in 2019, and then, But I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about your experience of playing this festival. I know you told me this is your second one. And how does this compare to you guys to playing other festivals around the country? And how is it different?
Well, we were actually kind of talking about that earlier today. That, you know, I think with Peach, something that's really special that they do is I feel like they invest their time into checking out all the bands and the music and, you know, really empower their artists. And so I think that the springboard, I give a lot of that credit to Peach especially. You know, we started on the Grove stage last year, and such a trip to have played the main stage and the Mushroom stage yesterday. And Peach gave us that opportunity. Certainly everybody coming out and supporting us. Last year, first set of the weekend through the rain and showed up for us. That's such a special feeling that we'll remember forever. But I think Peach was able to see that, and so I think that they really care about their artists and really care about giving them that opportunity and you know, not just being the, you know, you got to prove yourself to make it here, but let's prove something together and you know.
That's that family spirit that I'm talking about that we've been feeling. Like yesterday, I don't know who it was you or Daniel that asked me like, so what's your take on everything so far? I was like, I can't really put it into words yet. Like it's, and I don't want to be too cheesy or heavy about it, but like it's kind of ephemeral. Go ahead. Like, thanks, Apple. You know, it's the Grateful Dead created something really wonderful in that the community that grew up around the band was magic. And a lot of people here come from that world and or are kids of people that came from that world. And I think that's the thing that I'm picking up on now, like day three, I'm like, that's the special sauce, is that Grateful Dead family vibe that's here. And what you just said about like, you don't have to prove yourself to get here. Even if you already did prove yourself, that's not the reason that you're here. It's like, let's create something beautiful together. And that's the, when you put that kind of energy into something and then just like set it to go, all potential is contained in that. And then that thing can flower and grow and become beautiful.
Yeah, the artists feel that, the attendees feel that. You know, I mean, we went to Peach, what, 2014, our first time just to come to the festival, and felt that, you know, our first time here as well. You know, we were a little bit stubborn, being like, wow, I want to play Peach so badly now that I don't know if I can go again until we, you know, see it from the other side. And I'm grateful that we did.
That tenacity's awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder too, man, like, with that tenacity that you have like that, let me back up. So yesterday when we started, like, one of the first things I said to everybody out there was like, it may seem normal for you guys to see us up here, like, it's no big deal, we're doing a podcast, it's part of Peach, it's part of your festival experience. But for us, this is ultimately the most surreal thing ever in the world. Like, we aren't a band or a podcast, which isn't normally on stage, and now we're sitting here in front of all of you. That's weird, right? But I can't even like wrap my head around what it would be like for you guys as musicians, right? To come to Peach in 2014 or whatever and be like, man, I didn't want to play that. That'd be really fun. And I saw you guys destroy that main stage. So what is that like? Can you talk to me a little bit about that? What that feels like, what that journey is like for you guys, just like walking out on that stage after this?
I mean, it's crazy because all of us grew up, like Jake was saying, going to these festivals. Like, I grew up in Chicago. Summer camp was like the thing for me and my friends to do. Like, you know, we meet, it's in May, it's at the end of May. It's basically like we end school and then go straight to summer camp. Like the end of the year is like the weekend of summer camp. So like, you know, being able to come to these things as an artist and be on the other side of it is just insane to me. Because I'd never gone to Peach before this, but I wanted to so bad. And the first time was last year when we were playing, and it's just so insane to be able to like experience these events and places that I always wanted to go to, and experiencing them for the first time as an artist. It's just surreal.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt myself when I stepped up on the main stage yesterday, you know, having to kind of like hold it back a little bit, because it was this kind of rush of an overwhelming sensation. You know, I just looking out, even before there was anybody there, just looking out and seeing this. It's like that was the biggest place that we ever played, was that main stage there in our history as a band. And, you know, being on the other side of that glass and seeing Tab and Tedeschi Trucks Band and Allman Brothers in that same place in 2014 and getting my mind absolutely blown. Like, to stand up there, like, you know, you just can't help but think about all, like, the joy, but also, like, the sacrifices we've all made to get to this very moment, and that it all does get to culminate in just a big release of energy and joy together, which is, you know, such a special feeling.
It's interesting that, like, there is such an energy to it, you know, besides our energy, our excitement, our, you know, anticipation for playing, there is a certain energy that does stay on the stage, you know, to be sharing the stage with the likes of Trey and the Allman Brothers and all these other bands. There is something to be said about just the place, you know, it really brings something special.
Well, you know, energy, you know, you can't, it doesn't get recreated or destroyed, it just gets transferred. And, you know, I think that's the case, like, with, you know, the Peach Festival stage and many Halloween stages across the country. And one that we're really looking forward to, we just recently announced a show at Levon Helm Studios, which is at the barn, on August 5th. Of course, we'd love to have you out. And just knowing, like, you know, the hours of passionate music that took place behind, you know, within those four walls. It stays right there. I feel like it's time.
Yeah, you know, one other thing, you know, just about walking out yesterday, it's like, you know, so many new faces, as well as people, you know, my now fiance 8 years ago at a small bar, and seeing her out in the crowd and seeing my parents who I'm so fortunate that they come and support all these things, and you know, seeing those fans that were in the room and there's 3 people there, you know, and then alongside all of these new faces that we're just so fortunate to meet, it's a heavy and incredibly empowering feeling to just go through, you know, there's so many people that we feel like we're going through this with, and it's a shared journey, and you know, everyone that comes along on that journey with us just makes it so much more special.
You know that it's a huge point you just made about people coming along the journey with you. Like I said, we're from the West Coast, so we hadn't seen you guys. I hadn't heard of you. And when I started seeing you come through the algorithm on Instagram, I got swept up in that thing, like for real. I was instantly rooting for you guys. Because there's a lot of bands out there, right? And I like to think that over 30 plus years of like being a part of this community and being a fan of the music, I've gathered like a spidey sense when it comes to that. Like I can feel that shit coming through the phone. And that's not common. That's not every band that's rolling. And I got swept up in it. And it's real. That's real. And I don't think there's anything wrong with owning one and like stepping into that power and pushing that forward with everything you guys got, because there's a wave behind you there. And when you guys took that stage yesterday, it was like, that's right. That's right.
I just want to say the one thing. There's a lot of you may have too, like you said, being from the West Coast, we didn't really know you guys and stuff, but then all of a sudden, like Nugs.net, Nugs TV, all of a sudden you guys are just on there all the time. And I go to Nugs all the time to watch the shows and everything. And it was like, hey, who are these guys? The next thing you know, you guys became, part of the soundtrack to our life. We're listening to you all the time. We're having get-togethers at the house with you on in the background or a party and stuff. The other thing I wanted to say, which I've been talking to you yesterday when we saw you for a minute, is a lot of bands you see up there on stage, and like you're taking photographs, and you gotta wait for that moment when they're rocking out, and they like have the rock face, like the trade face and stuff like that. These guys, all 4, were over there taking photos, and you could just click, 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 click. Every single one of them, they were just killing it and giving it like 110%. Like just like I pull that out. He disagrees with 110%. That's a little bit extra effort. You guys killed it yesterday, and we admire that so much about you guys.
Well, one thing that's cool about festivals is the collaboration aspects. Is that people that you would never think that would sit in with each other sit in. So what are some of the sit-ins that you look forward to or that you've seen that just blew your mind? Any festival.
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind when we think about sit-ins, last night we had Daniel Donato come with us. And I mean, that was an incredible experience. It was cool. We had been chumming around with him on Instagram for a long time, and become kind of internet pen pals, I guess. And it was really cool getting to meet him and play with him simultaneously. Yeah, it was almost like we got to know him while playing.
Oh, wow.
We had fun.
Through the vibe.
Yeah, because after we played, we were talking to each other like different people. Like it's like we had these huge wealth of experiences condensed into 15 minutes or whatever on stage. And it's really, that's one of the things that's really powerful about a sit-in. When everyone is bringing that 100.
I'm gonna let it slide. Speech.
That 100-ish%, it really is like a conversation. It really is like getting to know somebody. It's almost more so than talking with them.
And it's cool for us because totally changes the way that we kind of adapt, and it brings new things out of us that, you know, sometimes those little things that happen in those 10, 15, 20 minutes of playing with somebody, you know, it'll be a lasting musical thing for us that starts to trickle into some of our, you know, some of our sound. And it's just a cool way to just, like Mike said, instantly kind of just throw yourself in a very personal experience with somebody, and very vulnerable, especially with improvised music. It's like, hey, we've gone there together, but we haven't gone there with you, but let's do this and see what happens, you know. It's a lot of fun.
It's awesome. He's out there right now. He's out there right now, and yesterday he was right here with us. And it's kind of the same thing when we first met Daniel. He was young, very young, and seeing him go on his journey on the way up, and seeing him sit in with the kitchen dwellers yesterday.
Oh my God.
Did any of you catch that?
Yeah, we were right there.
Dude,
Oh,
I was like stone cold sober out in the audience taking pictures, and I saw him come up and like they start playing and it's gonna be good, and I'm just like bawling when he's playing it, that full body chill, and you just can't hold it in. I don't okay, I'm it's
well, and
happening.
that's what I wanted to ask you guys about too, because you were saying about like those surreal experiences earlier about like stepping on stage. What about like, I know like when you get emotional like that, you want to cry, you want to like, but you guys have the music.
We've definitely cried while playing.
Really?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, for us, you know, not to make it a big and heavy thing, but you know, in the same way that you're saying a room, a stage can have this lasting energy, you know, same thing with friendships and relationships with loved ones, and you know, I know Johnny spoke with you guys before. You know, our band is named after our friend Edward. His childhood name was Eggy, and never knew why we named the band that. We were kind of just messing with him and stuff, and you know, about 4 or 5 years ago, Edward passed away, and you know, just carrying his spirit, we had to, you know, we played like a memorial show for him like a week after he had passed, and certainly had our fair shares of cries during that, but certainly celebratory. You know, I cried walking out on stage yesterday. Just, you know, you got to hold it in, but I think a lot of what our music is about is sharing our full self with everybody, and making ourselves vulnerable. And, you know, I can't find my truth if I can't, you know, or I can't be honest with you guys if I can't find that truth within myself. And so if tears or laughter, you know, the full spectrum of emotion is what we try and encapsulate within our music. And so you can't shy yourself off to those very real feelings.
That's something that I think about this community of people, is that authenticity is picked up on, and maybe that's the wave that I'm talking about that I felt when I saw you guys in. And you know, if it's not genuine, it's kind of easy to spot. And I want to go back to what you said about stages holding energy. So part of the conversation we had yesterday was like, as human beings, we have this fundamental need to gather, to have ritual in our lives. And we don't, as a modern society, ritual has been kind of removed from it. And this is a way for us to gather as a tribe and have community and have our ritual. So if you think about places like Red Rocks, take Red Rocks. That was Native American all around, where they would go before they were going into the battle, and like the shaman would come get up in the amphitheater and spit the energy up and bless all the warriors that were going out, and that amphitheater was used for however long for that. And now our family
people are like, you know, I had an amp, 60, 70 pound amp, never was blown over from any gust of wind before, amps on the ground, pedals don't work. You know, people are like, make sure that you show the love and respect for that sacred ground, you know. And so,
I think, you know, along those lines, a place like that for us, and I think for a lot of us in our community, is like the Capitol Theater in Port Chester.
100%.
That place is like a church for us. And, you know, again, bringing it back to emotions on stage. When we got to play at the Cap, I mean, I cried like a baby just looking out there, just thinking about, you know, all the people in our lives that have been there, all the, you know, obviously the famous people that have played there, you know,
countless shows we've seen.
you know, things I've listened to for years that have been there, you know, my father and uncle would see shows there when they were kids, and, you know, so it is crazy that we do have our version of, you know, temple.
I just wanted to make a prediction. I think what most people sitting here will agree. We are going to be seeing them on the stage at Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we're gonna end with you guys here in a minute, but I wanted to say a couple more things to you. Is that when you come to the West Coast, when you come to the West Coast, when you come up to the Pacific Northwest, we all have a place to
We got you.
We got your own place.
And only 40 minutes away.
Right? And it's gonna sound weird, but whatever. I turned 50 last year, and I didn't think that I was gonna make it. If you would have known me in my 20s, you would have been like, that guy's gonna be dead by the time. And this music was one of the, besides the melody, was the other thing that saved my life. This music saved my life. And it means everything to me. And to see another generation coming up that has respect for the thing and understands it and is doing it, like, makes me laugh. So just thank you guys for what you do, man.
And for the time off stage, this is really like one of the things that I get weepy and teary about, even when we're home on the podcast on Zoom. These guys just took an hour, 2 hours out of their time to set up their computer, go through Zoom and talk to us when you could be practicing, traveling, doing whatever. And to me, that I'm so grateful for that. And I'll never not be grateful for that, for you guys doing that and taking time. So thank and letting everybody know. Yeah, thank
Everybody
you
give
so
it up
much.
for Eggy.
Eddie!
Give it up for North Central Road. So we're going to keep with the theme and bring up another next generation. Yeah. Jimmy, want to come up?
out.
Yeah.
Stand by. Give me just a second to dry my eyes and
Fantastic, you.
stop the tears and have the hugs.
Dude, thank you.
Be with you in just a second.
I know. That's my favorite. Yeah. It's very
We got one dog, no child.
Hey, if you're watching on the live stream right now and you're seeing this, just like go grab a drink or smoke a bowl. 2 minutes. Promise. I wouldn't want to hear it. Mel just asked me to send Jimmy a song. I'm like, we're doing a live podcast right now. Play this right here. Yeah. Come on, Mel.
She wanted you to sing a Tom
Yeah,
Carl.
when you work? No. I'm glad I'm comfortable on stage.
I'll give you a play-by-play.
Wow. Well, everybody, if you don't already know, this is Jim Long from Dogs in the Pile. Everybody give it up for him. Yeah.
I'm sure he's stumbling on it.
So, Jimmy, how's your festival been so far, man? How's it treating you?
Well, I'll be honest with you, so we came, a couple of us went to Dead and Company yesterday at Bethel Woods, and then we decided to come here, and it's just a huge weekend, you know. But I just got here about an hour ago, and ate some food, and I'm just getting warmed up, and ready to hang out.
How was the show?
Dead and Company is just on top of it right now. Jalen was on drums, and it's just different, you know, like wound and tight.
Yeah.
It's so great to see them still with some steam in the engine, you know.
We were talking about it the other day, like, that whole thing is an engine for turning people on.
Hey, welcome, Sam.
So this is another instance of like internet pen pals meeting in real life.
That's right.
These
You
guys,
saw it here first.
you guys have been on the show twice, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So they've been on No Simple Road twice, and I just fell in love with these guys, man. And they're very lovable. Never met in real life, so I appreciate you guys giving us a second to get our hugs in and say hi. But yeah, anyway, back to Dead Company. So it's this like, there's a lot of people that talk shit. You know what I mean? And it is what it is.
Aaron's one of them.
I'm guilty at times too.
Sometimes
But I really started seeing a new light in this tour, man, because there's so many young dudes that are coming in and they're learning the music through Dead and Company. And it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And I would think that happening can only help you guys, right? So are you seeing like an infusion of these people that have been going and seeing Dead and Company coming to your guys' shows too?
Well, it's cool because I'm sorry to say, but I think it's cool because a lot of the Dead and Co fans that are going now are a lot of kids like our age and even younger, and they're seeing what their parents did their whole life now, and they're like, wow, that looks fun. And then they go and they're like, wow, the music's good too. And then they wind up realizing that it's a whole vibe rather than just music, the whole community, and then just like it goes throughout your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, and Dead Company was like one of the first bands I started seeing that really got me to like, you know, be like, oh my god, this scene is amazing. This is what we want to do. This is the scene we want to be in.
What was the music you were listening to before?
I mean, I got into it when I was probably like 13 or 14. Before that, like, I loved alternative rock, indie rock. I still love that stuff. But I love Beck. Beck was my all-time favorite.
Shout out
Rock.
Yeah, I was kind of a little different for me, but my dad's right there. Big dude. So I can
say he's the reason I'm sitting in this chair today. He started taking me to see, Bob Merritt and Phil Lesh in their offspring bands After the Dead since I was 4 years old in 2003. He was taking me to everything, and that's all I've ever known.
My first show was Cornell, 77.
Yeah, right.
I'm only 22.
I saw Jerry.
Hey man, you know what? As a dad, I can't even imagine how proud you are. Like, come on, man.
It's usually one of the first things I ask when we talk to the younger bands. Like, what do your parents think about this? You're dedicating your entire life, but clearly your dad knows.
Here's the answer right there.
Exactly. Smiling, happy, beaming over there.
Yeah, all of our parents are super supportive. My dad, it took actually him a little bit of time to get on board with it because he was like, when are you gonna get a real job? And then, but then when he sees how busy we are the last couple of years, he's like, you stop giving me shit. Basically. He's like,
What was that?
That's one thing I love is like you guys being younger, like this generation, they have more support because you're like our age. I'm 53. Like we grew up in that. It's like you better get a day job. And now, like so many young artists we talk to, their parents are so behind them, and it's more common than not to hear about like they took me out with my first Dead show. We were in a couple people we were in one. I can't remember who it was. I was conceived at a Dead show. You really into the fold in a different way with so much support and everything.
Well,
it's awesome. And you guys respect that. We know it when we talk to you. You respect that. You don't take it for granted.
And there's something too that I think that we learned coming up that's been instilled in you guys is that, and it's what Apple was just talking about when we were coming up, it was like, well, you play guitar, but you better get a real job, or you better have something to fall back on if it doesn't work out. And I think that we learned that's the wrong way to approach anything. If you're going to play guitar and give yourself nothing to fall back on, so you have to go all in and do the thing. If you have something to fall back on, what's the point? I'll play around the campfire at parties or whatever. But if you know that you're not going to pay your rent, now you're practicing in a whole different way.
For a whole other reason.
But for you guys, man, we've been witness to your art. Taking stage at the Cap. That's not little. That's a huge deal. Like we were just talking about Peggy, and that's tears walking out on that thing. And I just love hearing about those first experiences. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
So I was literally telling Jim, I try to treat every show as like the same show, like just for my own mental sake. So I was doing that for the Cap. It's like a normal show. Then we get up on stage, we see all of our best friends, like hundreds of our best friends right in the front. And I was literally like all the verge of tears. I was so happy. It was insane. And I was like, okay, I can't just treat this like a normal show.
How did you feel the show went based on all that emotion?
Oh my God!
All that?
I thought it was like one of our best ever.
Yeah, it definitely came through in the best way possible. The energy that we felt from the crowd came through in the verse, you know what I mean? It definitely felt it was just awesome.
So, how many peaches have you guys
How many peaches does it take?
It's actually funny because all of our first peach was 2019, right? Oh yeah, the last peach, yeah, and we were all there, the whole band. None of us had been here, and we all came here and we actually stumbled into the Dope Pod set. And it was all our first Dope Pod show, and we all five of us at once fell in love with Dope Pod, head over heels. All of us were the whole set.
I remember us talking about this.
You were the ones that told us that.
We brought it up in the last podcast.
Yeah. And till this day, that just inspired me.
And we were listening to their set from last year all week.
Oh yeah.
Right?
One of the things that we've been talking about with the artists that we're sitting down with this weekend is what makes Peach special. This is the 10th anniversary, right? That's a big deal. That's a huge deal for anything. If you do anything for 10 years, good on you, besides smoking or something, But little thing. And also, just stop for just a second. Step out of your festival experience and think about what it takes to do this shit. This is gnarly, what's going on right now. This is basically putting up a city and infrastructure in a few weeks and then taking it down. All so that we can all trip and have a good time. But to do it for 10 years and to get better at it every year is commendable, right? And there is something very special about Peach. So the artists that we've been sitting down with this week, we've been asking them, like, from your perception, what's different about Peach than other festivals? Because you guys, you get to see a lot of different venues, a lot of different energy, a lot of different crowds, a lot of different suits. So how does this differ or compare?
Well, I guess more specifically for us, I think we're all kind of local. You know, we're in Jersey, so I think the fact that most people that have been watching us, I've been playing.
Like Peach is their favorite festival.
All of our friends, everybody that's from our hometown comes here, and everybody who's seen us play since like the beginning and since we were really young, all are here. So it's like a family reunion. Yeah, here's all of our homies right here. Yep. Jersey love right there. Yep. It just feels like home away from home. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think these guys have been seeing us for over 3 years now.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. And they're family now. They're screwed now.
But so I think one of the things that's really important to me about Peach is like I got here on Thursday and I'm camping. I camped last night or both nights. I'm gonna go back to the hotel tonight to rest up for tomorrow. But like, I got to camp with our good friends from Massachusetts who I haven't seen since the last time we were in Massachusetts. And we just get to hang out with all of our other friends and all other bands. Eggie's over there, Yam Yam's our good buddies.
Our homie Aaron from North Carolina.
Yup.
To see him. Yeah.
We did a March Madness bracket tournament, gave away free tickets to Peach, and Aaron won them.
Won that. Yep.
He had the best bracket in the tournament.
He also has the best name.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, you guys, man, it's a privilege for us to have a voice in the community that we are a part of. It's a huge deal for me. Like the gravity of that thing is not lost. I've just been going to shows my whole life. I'm just a dude, and started a podcast with a mic clamped to a table on my porch. And now I'm like sitting here in front of all you guys talking to these cats. It's kind of awesome.
His dog?
Yeah, he's done. I don't know how to put it.
You follow the love, man, and good things happen.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. It's like to have the younger generation coming up and to see what you guys are doing with the music. It's a sight to behold. It's the coolest thing I have ever seen. What you guys and Eddie and others are doing right now. It's mind blowing, and it's really cool to us because when we were coming up, like we had the Dead, we had Fish, we had the Allman Brothers, we had the Beatles. You guys have that, and then to build on, right? So basically, what you are creating is a new style of music.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a collage style of music from all of your parents and your friends and your own personal interests, older brother, sister, like this conglomeration, and to make already perfect music better. That is, think about that. Everyone freaking loves the Dead. Everyone loves it, and every time they play it, it's better. And then you guys come on with all of that and play it better again. That to me is not lost at all. And I just want to commend you for doing that and finding your style and your voice and shredding the heck out of the stage every time you guys are on it. I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Love you
to have
guys.
you. Yeah.
Thanks so much. So grateful to be part of this team and everything.
I'm gonna piggyback on that real quick and throw my admiration to and everything, because like you said, with your generation, we live in a crazy world, man. And we hear a lot of people people, I have some friends, but there's no good new music out there.
You're not looking.
It's like, you know, you're not looking in the right places, and that's one of the things that we're about with our podcast, is there's nothing more, and I'm sure everybody agrees, than finding out about a new band from a friend or Instagram, whatever it is, but discovering new music. And like when we discovered these guys, blew our freaking minds. And then when we find out how young they are, it just gives me hope. There is hope. This is gonna live on forever. The music never stops.
There's so many great new bands here. Like we saw Agnes Summer Camp a couple weeks ago. Mind blown by the set. We hadn't seen them in a year or two. Yam Yam on Thursday night here was incredible. Also, their set at Summer Camp was incredible. So I love listening to new music, especially jam bands. One Time Weekend is our good buddy from Connecticut. They're going to be here 10:30 tonight on the Grove stage.
There is hope.
They were.
We want to say thank you, boys, so much for
Thank you, guys.
young men, boys, whatever it is. We just love you. We love what you're doing. We support you, and thanks for sharing your time with everybody.
Right back at you guys.
Why not be in person, man?
Yeah.
We're gonna stop for like maybe 4 minutes and reset everything, and James Casey's gonna come up and sit with us for a few minutes.
Yeah.
See you then, guys.
Thanks, you guys.
You want a magnet? Those are peach
Welcome to No Simple Road at the Peach.
Yes.
First and foremost. And thanks everybody, James Casey, for joining us. This is an honor. It's a privilege. We are so. I want to cry right now. Thank you.
Bells off for Clem.
I think a lot of us are here to see a lot of things this weekend, but to see Tab take the stage tonight and do what they do, and see this man do what he does, and get the opportunity to sit down with you for a few moments before you guys blow that stage up is a supreme honor. Thank you so much, James.
I'm just glad to be here. Thank you all for asking me to come talk. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but
We don't know either. Yes. No, James, man. One of the things about No Simple Road is, and I said this yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we've been accused of being gushy and unprofessional. So I'm
And we own it.
and unprofessional, true to No Simple Road form. When I saw you play Red Rocks with the kids,
There's nothing else to say about that.
You're crying, man. You're crying.
I'm not gonna cry. when I saw that happen, I've been seeing Grateful Dead music since I was 18 years old. I'm 50. That was the baddest shit I've ever seen. Straight up. Yeah. The energy that was coming from you during that show came through my TV and had me floored, like completely floored. And that's less uncommon than I would say, but it's not very common. And I'm just curious, I know that this freak show isn't yours.
It's not, but I will say the love and how I've been embraced by it has been nothing short of like amazing. And it's really impeccable. A lot of the times when you're, so I've been in the quote unquote jam band scene, I guess, since 2010 when I started playing with Legacy and Soul.
Oh, okay.
But it always seemed a little exclusive. And it always seemed like the people in the scene, they don't want anybody, it's not that they don't want anybody to come in, it's just like they're very protective of their music. And so when you come from the outside, you just kind of feel like, well, it's cool, and I see the love that y'all have for y'all, but I don't necessarily know how to fit in. But the second I began, opening up within, Trey's scenario, like his band, and he let us, actually be ourselves. It's been more, you all have embraced me as opposed to, just the saxophone player. And then once this whole thing came back with Grateful Dead, I didn't know. I didn't think that the online situation would be such that I unfairly assumed that Grateful Dead fans were a bit older. Like that. I'm like, I don't know, it's like too little older. Like it's not gonna be like when we play it and like this. No. My social media has been nuts ever since that show. Ever since the Grateful Mahalo, it's all been like just the love and everything I've received from Grateful Dead fans. And I'm just like, obviously Fish fans as well, but like I didn't know. So thank you all for the love.
Yeah.
How did the Trey, for everybody that doesn't know, how did the Trey thing how'd you hook up that whole thing? I mean, that's pretty spectacular.
All right, so I'm going to try to make this story pretty short.
No, we can take our time.
Okay.
We want the good version.
All right, so like I said, I started playing with Lettuce and Soul Live in 2010. My friend Sam Kenninger had to step away, so I took his place in those two groups. And we do this thing, well, they were doing this thing at the time called Bowl Live. So at Brooklyn Hall, every March they would play for 2 weeks straight. And I did the first one and the second one. And my third year playing with them, 2012, there was a guest for the first weekend named Jennifer Hartswick. And I had no idea who she was. She had no idea who I was. And we actually said that after sound check. I was like, who's this? And then she's like, who are you? You can play. Like, hey, we should know each other. That's cool. She did the first weekend shows. That was it. I didn't think anything of it. That year, I went to Jazz Fest in April beginning of May, and she just happened to be in the back of One Eye Jacks. Lettuce was playing, or like it might have been a Dr. Claus show, one of those associated bands, and she was backstage. Her and Natalie, who I didn't know at the time, and I met them, and I was joking with Jennifer. I was like, hey, this is gonna be the year James Casey gets gigs because I needed some work. I was like, get some James. She's like, I actually recommended you for something. We'll see what happens. I'm like, cool, great. Didn't think anything of it. From this point, I left New York. I moved to Arizona with my dad and my mom just to basically see what I was going to end up doing within this music industry. Because I seemed like I was at a crossroads at the time. I wasn't going to do the artist route. I wasn't going to continue to stay in New York with the LA production. Wasn't going to do. Then I got a phone call from some dude named Trey. And he left a message. I was asleep. He called, he left a message, and I listened to the message, and I went back to sleep because I don't know who Fish is. I know who Dre is. I know someone hits you and say, I have a band called Fish. Cool. Good, good job. Like,
How old were you at this point?
how old was I?
Yeah.
This was in 2012, so 29.
Okay. Okay.
20.
I'm just trying to get the, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So to give a little bit more perspective, I come from the gospel realm. So I started playing drums in church when I was 2 or 3, and gospel into R&B, into hip hop, into all of that. That's where I come from, and so I didn't know anything about this stuff at all.
I'm with you.
Like,
that was my background too.
You're talking Mel's language right now.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I follow.
exactly. So when they're like, "Yo, you wanna, do this gig?" I didn't know. I called up Crabs later. Once I woke up, I was like, "Yo, bro, some dude named Trey called me. I don't know what to do." He's like, "Yo, hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone right now. Call back. Say yes. Whatever it is. Hang it up. Then call me back." Because he got so excited. And I was like, "Okay, all right. I'll call him back." And that's what happened.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
So, coming from the gospel world and getting on the stage with Trey and Jen and Natalie, a whole bunch, to me, it's kind of same animal, kind of. Are you having that kind of experience up there? Because I know we're having it out here.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I would say for me, playing is always going to be a spiritual experience. Wherever you like, I don't want to speak to whatever anyone else speaks to themselves as spiritual. Whatever you feel spiritual is for you. But for me, playing music is always going to be just me, between me and whatever you want to consider something bigger than you.
Yes.
So for me, that's what it is.
So yeah, you are. Yeah, absolutely, every time.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to hear the story though, man. Like, and to see the pieces like being moved on the chessboard, and we have no idea what's happening in our lives. A phone call
Changes your
can
life.
change your life.
Oh, but that's the thing. Because of what I do and because of the way my life has gone, I can easily see how it could have gone had I not taken that phone call, or had I not done this, had I not gone here, and not done that. Like, this is probably something that you were going to get into later, but the phone call that I got from Bill Croisman's camp, I could have easily just been like, some dude named Bill. Again. Some dude named Bill. I'm in Hawaii. I get a text message. Hey, you want to play some gigs in front of with people? I'm like, what? Who texted me this? Yeah, but
Talk about leveling up.
yeah, but no, but it's the same thing. Like, I didn't know it was going to be this, and I said yes because of other people around me. They're like, "Yo, you might not understand this, but we understand what's going on. So maybe you should probably do this. It might be good for your overall." So when I got that phone call from Bill and his camp, I called Till, who I've known since that first bowl line.
Right.
I was like, "Yo, bro, who's this and what's going on?" He's like, he literally, we talked for hours before I called and said yes, because I don't know. But we literally talked for a few hours, and he assured me that this is going to be something that is musically great for you. It will hit you musically more than anything else. Because all the other shit, like the money, the fame, that really doesn't mean anything to me. It never has, because music has been the forefront of my life since I was a child.
Yeah.
So all this other stuff that come with it is beautiful, but if the music doesn't hit, it doesn't work for me.
Right.
So talking to Otil helped me to see it in a way that it musically fit, and musically, got me into a place of really understanding where he's coming from, which made everything work, and that's why I came across that way.
Yeah.
Do you think that listening to these stories now and everything, I'm just curious, I'm sure it has, but from your perspective,
perspective has like that? You had a chance of like playing with Trey Kreutzmann. Has it expanded the way you play?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a perfectionist. I am a perfectionist. I strive for perfection. I strive to be the greatest I could possibly be at every single thing that I do. And you know what you can't do for 4 hours on stage playing an instrument? No, you can't be perfect. You just can't. There's no way to be perfect. You can't be perfect. No matter how on you are, 4 hours on stage, you can't be perfect.
That's a marathon.
Yeah, it's a marathon. And
Perspective.
yeah, so it stops the idea of perfection and revamps the idea of excellence.
Oh!
For me. So I'm not trying to be perfect anymore. My goal is to be excellent in where I am right now. So my idea of what was perfect in 2012 is definitely not the same as it's going to be right now. But excellence is still excellence. You know what I'm saying? I can't go through all the health stuff. I have to change the way I play. But that doesn't mean I won't still be as excellent as I possibly can.
That was also something that I promised myself when we sat down with you that I was going to tell you guys. Like, just thanks for being so brave,
And
being
candid.
vocal with your health stuff, man. And it's an inspiration to see. And I know that when you do stuff like that, you hope that it does something for people out there, and it in turn does something for you too. But just from me to you, thanks, man. That was super cool.
There was no, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to to promote myself or anything at all. Like, if I had no choice, if I had my choice, I wouldn't be on social media at all. I hate the idea of it. But if I can stop anybody else from going through this shit, like, this is terrible. This disease is curable if you get it in time. But because our insurance situation doesn't allow us to, they won't pay for it till you're 45. I'm not 45, I'm nowhere near 45. It's just what it is. So, I mean, if I can help somebody else to not have to go through this, please I'll tell everybody, I'll tell the world how difficult it is, how shitty the being in a hospital for a week with your insides all like sprawled out over, that sucks. But if I can tell the story in a way that'll just help somebody else to, go get checked, please. It might help you not have to go through this shit.
And it's good to see you go out and playing and doing your thing. And from our perspective, music's just even better. Like, it's Garcia actually said it. He said, when I get up on stage, sometimes I feel like I'm playing for my life. And that comes through now, man. And not that it did before, but it's apparent because of the situation, you know what I'm saying?
I had to change the way I play because I'm no longer the same virtuosic player that I was 2 years ago, because I've had to literally take, okay, this is a little bit more candid than you all know, but I'm going through chemo right now, so it's a 2-week chemo every other week. So for 4 to 5 days out of every 2 weeks, I'm just lying in the bed. There's nothing I can do. There's no, I can't continue to improve. I can't continue. So basically what I'm doing is every 2 weeks I'm trying to get back to being where I'm okay.
Your baseline.
Yeah. So the goal is to get back to the baseline. So hopefully, today is Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
So I gotta play it today. Tonight I'm playing on Monday. And then I start back on Tuesday.
Wow.
You're a warrior, man. Well, that's for real. No, look.
Whether you want to be or not, realize it or not, especially in the scene, your vulnerability in your playing and then in your personal life, this is why you're feeling the love. Allowing everybody to see who you are, what you are, that is why we come back. That's why we cheer. That's why we're screaming your name and wanting you to do better and go, because your life is spread out in front of us, and we're we want to preserve that life. So we're giving that love and that energy for you to get better. Come on, let's do it. I hear what you're saying about social the same sentiments about social media too, but there's a flip side to everything, right? The yin and the yang. And the beautiful positive side of social media is exactly what's happening right now. We didn't know you from anyone in the world, and then you dropped into our world, and now we get to do this in front of everybody. And make no mistake, this will bless somebody. This talk, this experience, they're going to take it back with their Peach 4A and be like, we saw James Casey, he was talking about his stuff, I got checked, whatever, we don't know. We don't know what can happen. So just the fact that you're showing up in your excellence, I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah, man. And,
Thank you.
And here's one other piece of this too, man. I know we got to go in a second. When we started doing No Simple Road and talking to the artists that we love and admire, something started happening for the three of us where our musical experience started to change because we were now rooting for our friends.
For the individual.
Right? And the connection to the music and the people created something larger than it was by itself. And I wanted to bring that to the people that listen to the show because it had so fundamentally changed my experience that I was like, how can I share this with the people that are listening to what we do? And you have given us that opportunity today because I know now that the people that are in this room are going to have an even deeper experience tonight's scene training than they would have do otherwise.
Absolutely.
So just thanks for helping us
Spread that.
spread that.
I thank you all for spreading it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, you all are doing, you all do a job that we can't do. It's a documentation job. You all document what we're doing, and what happens like late, what's going to happen like when we're older, we're going to write a memoir, we're going to mess up, and we're going to tell stories wrong, and we don't remember anything, and y'all like, well, you know, it didn't really happen like that. You told us back then. Like, so we appreciate what you all do more than you know, and we check you out. We listen because I mean, this informs. If you're a musician still, like if you get to the point that you're still a musician, you were a music nerd at some point. So we didn't have podcasts as kids, so like all that information, we love this stuff. So please, like thank you for doing what you do, and please continue to do what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. That's sweet. I appreciate that outlook because I've never heard it like that before from the musician side. I know that they appreciate it. They love the conversations. We have a great time, but to hear it from that perspective, it's fresh. And so thank you for that.
Well, I think one thing is the last word. Also, one thing that this world needs is truth, honesty, and good music, and that's what James is all about, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah. James, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'm so excited to see you in person tonight for the first time.
I don't know. You all know we don't have set lists. We told y'all that. There's no set list for a trade show. I literally have no.
He's like, come on, James, you can tell
It's
us.
going to be a surprise to you and me and everybody else.
We're going to share a surprise together.
Everybody watching at home, thanks for watching.
James Casey, everybody. Thank you.